You know, life isn't always easy. It throws challenges at us, it tests us, it makes us question who we are. But every once in a while, we meet someone or something that touches the core of who we are. That moment, that feeling, it's like your heart is being acknowledged, truly seen. Today, I want to talk about that, the power of recognition, of gratitude, and of honoring the people, the moments, the acts that make our hearts feel alive. This is a speech about respect, about connection, about saying simply and honestly, you salute my heart. Sometimes when I think about the heart, I don't mean just the organ that keeps us alive. I mean the part of us that feels, that notices, that struggles quietly in the dark and still reaches for the light. Life has a way of testing us, and it's not always in big, dramatic ways. Often, it's the small moments, the subtle slights, the unspoken words, the silent nights, the heavy weight of regret, the longing for connection that shape who we are. And in those moments, we discover something simple yet profound. When someone truly sees you, when someone recognizes your effort, your courage, your vulnerability, it's like a quiet salute to your heart. To salute a heart is not just to acknowledge it, it is to honor it, to witness it, to allow it to exist fully without judgment. I think about the people who have crossed my path, the people who have given me glimpses of this recognition, and I realize that these moments, these gestures, they are rare. They are not loud. They are not grand. They do not demand attention, but they matter more than words can ever carry. A nod, a gentle smile, a thank you, a presence that refuses to leave when the world has abandoned you. That is the salute of the heart. When we live our lives, we often forget the weight of this. We are so focused on the next step, the next goal, the next achievement, that we miss the subtle signs that life is trying to show us. We miss the heartbeat of connection. We overlook the small acts of courage, the quiet persistence, the resilience that does not announce itself with fireworks, but continues quietly, steadfastly, day after day. And when someone, anyone, recognizes that, when someone chooses to honor that struggle, it becomes something sacred. It becomes a reminder that the heart, fragile and resilient at once, is worth noticing. I think about my own heart sometimes, the parts that are worn, scarred, uncertain. And I think about the times I've met someone who saluted it, not with words, not with praise, but with acknowledgement, just seeing it, accepting it, allowing it to breathe. That is a gift, and it is rare, it is almost revolutionary in a world that constantly measures worth by productivity, by appearance, by the volume of one's voice, by the size of one's victories. The heart does not ask for loud recognition. It asks for quiet presence. It asks for respect. It asks for understanding. And when it receives that, it expands, it grows, it believes again. Imagine a world where every heart was saluted, not every day, not in some utopian fantasy, but even in moments. Imagine a world where people stopped long enough to notice, to honor, to respect the invisible battles fought within each of us. What would that world look like? I think it would be softer yet stronger. I think it would be braver. Because to salute a heart is not weakness, it is courage. It takes courage to see another person's vulnerability without trying to fix it, to witness another person's pain without turning away, to honor someone's quiet victories without taking them for granted. There is a certain humility that comes with saluting a heart. It is an understanding that no one's struggle is small, that no one's courage is insignificant, that every attempt to rise, to survive, to love, to keep going matters. And when you extend this honor to another person, something remarkable happens. You create space, you create trust, you create a mirror in which the other person can see themselves clearly without distortion, without fear. And that mirror is powerful. That mirror is life-changing. That mirror is the kind of recognition that doesn't fade with time, the kind that lingers quietly in your chest like a pulse, like a reminder, like a soft wind on a heavy day telling you that someone saw you, and that is enough. We carry wounds, don't we? We carry them from childhood, from friendships, from mistakes, from losses, from betrayals. Some of us carry shame, some of us carry guilt, some of us carry fear. And most of the time, we carry them alone because the world has not trained us to seek acknowledgement for the struggles we endure quietly. We learn to hide, to suppress, to push forward, to perform, to pretend. And yet, the heart keeps trying, the heart keeps hoping, the heart keeps looking for that salute, that small but profound recognition that says, I see you, I respect you, you matter. And when it comes, it is like a light in the darkness, a calm in the storm, a quiet revolution in the life of someone who has known too many storms. Saluting the heart also requires patience. It is not something you can force. You cannot manufacture it. It cannot be coerced or demanded. It arises naturally when one person chooses to step beyond their own distractions, beyond their own judgments, beyond their own fears, and simply honors another person's presence, their efforts, their essence. And this is the paradox. The act of saluting another heart often heals the heart that does the saluting. There is something transformative in this acknowledgement, something deeply human, something that connects us to the very core of our existence. Because to salute a heart is to remind yourself as well that we are all caring, we are all striving, we are all deserving of recognition and respect. Think about the people you have met in your life who have quietly saluted your heart. Maybe it was a teacher who noticed your dedication when no one else did. Maybe it was a friend who stayed when everyone left. Maybe it was a stranger who offered a word of encouragement at exactly the right moment. Maybe it was a loved one who never demanded but simply understood. These moments are rare, but they are powerful. They linger. They change the way you see yourself. They give you courage to continue, to persevere, to hope. And perhaps in those moments, you realize that the greatest gift you can offer anyone is this acknowledgement, this quiet, profound salute of the heart. Every heart carries a story. Every heart carries battles, dreams, fears, regrets, hopes. And every story deserves recognition. Every silent struggle deserves acknowledgement. Every act of courage, no matter how small, deserves respect. And when you recognize that, when you salute that, you participate in something larger than yourself. You participate in the quiet, unseen work of lifting humanity, of connecting souls, of reminding one another that we are not alone, that we are seen, that we are valued, that our hearts are worthy of honor. It is easy to overlook this. It is easy to become numb, to move too fast, to miss the subtle signs of courage and resilience in those around us. But if we slow down, if we open ourselves to the possibility of noticing, if we allow ourselves to see with clarity and without judgment, we discover that every person we meet is carrying something remarkable. Every person has endured, has loved, has struggled, has persevered. And to salute that is not just kindness, it is recognition of the sacredness of life itself. It is acknowledgement that every heartbeat, every effort, every quiet act of courage matters. Sometimes the world will not salute your heart. Sometimes it will ignore you, dismiss you, misunderstand you. And that is when the act of saluting another heart becomes even more important because you understand the power of acknowledgement. You understand the hunger of the heart to be seen, to be honored, to be respected. And when you extend this gift to someone else, you are participating in a cycle of humanity that refuses to let anyone be invisible. You are creating a space where courage is recognized, where perseverance is honored, where hearts are celebrated, where souls are lifted, where the quiet dignity of being is affirmed. There is a quiet power in gratitude. It does not shout. It does not demand attention. It moves gently like a soft wind brushing against your cheek, reminding you that someone noticed, someone honored, someone cared. We live in a world that constantly measures value in volume, in action, in achievement. Loud voices are rewarded, rapid movement is praised, constant output is admired. But there is another kind of power, a subtle, invisible force that is often overlooked, the power of gratitude, the power of respect. It is not flashy, it is not immediate, but it has a depth that can transform lives. To practice gratitude is to acknowledge the presence of another soul, to recognize their existence, their effort, their courage. It is a salute of the heart without words, a language that does not need translation. Imagine a life where every gesture of kindness, every quiet act of courage, every hidden effort is met with acknowledgement. Not necessarily applause, not necessarily recognition in the eyes of the world, but recognition in the most human way possible, a silent nod, a gentle smile, a mindful pause that says, I see you, I honor you, I respect you. This is the language that touches souls. This is the language that heals. When you cultivate gratitude, you begin to notice the invisible threads that connect all of us. You notice the person holding the door open, the person who waits patiently for others, the person who sacrifices quietly, without expectation. These acts are not performed for recognition, yet when they are seen, they resonate deeply. They remind us of something essential about humanity, that respect and acknowledgement, even in their simplest form, carry weight far beyond what we often realize. Respect is a companion to gratitude. Gratitude notices, respect honors. Gratitude whispers, respect bows. When combined, they form a language that speaks to the deepest parts of the human spirit. Consider the people who have shaped your life. Often, it is not the loud mentors, the famous teachers, the flashy leaders who leave the greatest impact. It is the quiet presence, the steady guidance, the unwavering support that endures in silence. That is respect. That is gratitude in action. That is the salute of the heart in its purest form. The paradox is that this language, gratitude and respect, is invisible until we notice it. It cannot be forced. It cannot be faked. It grows slowly, nurtured by attention, empathy, and sincerity. And yet, when it manifests, it is transformative. To greet someone's presence with respect, to honor their struggle, to recognize their contribution, is to participate in the sacred work of human connection. It is a reminder that we are not alone. It is a recognition that every effort, every attempt, every quiet act of courage matters. I think about gratitude in my own life, about the moments when someone paused, really paused, to see me, to honor me, to acknowledge that I exist beyond the roles I play. Beyond the masks I wear, beyond the performance that life often demands. Those moments were simple, a glance, a smile, a few words, but they were profound. They spoke directly to my heart, louder than any praise, more lasting than any accolade, and they taught me something essential, that the act of acknowledging another human being, of honoring their presence, of recognizing their struggle and their courage, is one of the most powerful gifts we can offer. Gratitude and respect are not just social niceties, they are moral forces, spiritual acts, revolutionary gestures in a world that often rushes past the quiet truths of human existence. When you offer respect, you affirm someone's dignity. When you express gratitude, you recognize someone's effort. When you combine the two, you create a space where the soul feels safe, where vulnerability is welcomed, where courage is seen, and where the heart is truly saluted. Consider how often we take the people around us for granted. We assume their work, their kindness, their patience, their presence, and in doing so, we unintentionally erase the impact of their lives on ours. Gratitude corrects this. Gratitude awakens us to the reality that every connection matters, every effort matters, every person matters. It teaches us that the act of noticing is itself an act of love, that the smallest acknowledgement can resonate through a person's life in ways we may never fully understand. Respect, too, is transformative. Respect is more than it is more than social etiquette. It is the deep recognition that every individual carries weight, every individual carries battles, every individual deserves to be honored. And when we offer respect sincerely, it is not a favor, it is a recognition of shared humanity. It is a reflection of the truth that the world is richer when hearts are saluted, when lives are acknowledged, when courage is seen, and when the quiet power of human dignity is recognized. The beauty of this language, gratitude and respect, is that it does not require words. Sometimes words are inadequate. Sometimes silence communicates more than speech ever could. A patient presence, a listening ear, a gentle touch, a nod. a gaze that does not flinch. These are the gestures that speak directly to the soul. These are the gestures that say, "You are here, you matter, I see you, I honor you." And when we experience them, when we are the recipients of such acknowledgement, it is transformative. It reminds us of what we have often forgotten, that we are part of something larger, something sacred, something enduring.